There's something that most of you aren't realizing, and that's that Trae Young is ramping up his play as we head into this new year, and is doing so in an exceptional way. When we look at his splits from month to month, you can see that every month Trae has improved in every major stat category, and in the month of December, he's been on a roll putting up 30 points a night, with 12 assists to go along with it, while converting 47% of his shots from the field and 42% from deep. Yeah, to say he's a walking bucket right now would be an understatement, as he's more of a walking generator because not only is he scoring in bunches for himself, but he's also setting up his teammates for great looks as well, showing you how a point guard is supposed to execute on the floor. During this span of games in December, Trae joined the history books with Oscar Robertson as the only two players to score 30 points while dishing out 10 assists in 7 games straight. These numbers are truly great and whatnot, but like many of you are probably thinking or saying to yourself, are these empty stats? Now usually I would say yes, but let me give you a different perspective. Young can't simply will this team to wins all by himself, as basketball is a team sport, so he needs the help from his supporting cast as well. When you watch these Atlanta Hawks games, you can see just how much Trae affects the game and sets up his teammates for success, so it's now all about finding the right pieces and hoping guys step up to the plate to help this team get back on track. When Trae gets going in his groove, well that's when you see these threes where he just walks down the defender dotting it right in their eyes, but it's really when he uses these high screens where things get quite interesting. Usually you'll see players come off these screens with momentum to get into the shot, but if you watch Trae, he used this screen simply as a wall to hide behind, so instead of coming off the screen completely, he'll use that one dribble towards the screen to get the ball into his shooting pocket, so as the defense is sitting there waiting for him to come off, they're just too late to contest as Young is already firing it up from 29 feet. Defenses will fall victim to this countless of times because not only are you convinced he's going to run off the screen, but when you go under it, well you're really doomed because this gives Young nothing but time and opportunity to let it fly. Not every time you'll see Trae use the screen as a brick wall of protection, so this is when he used the momentum to get downhill to put defenders on their heels, so when a big switch is on him as he runs off with a head of steam, any subtle movement will shift them, and now it's a money ball with no worries of the defense. Other times when Trae comes off, he doesn't necessarily have the angle to the basket that he wants, so this when he pulls it back out to ISO the big man on the switch, and after feeding this step back, you can see just how much space this generates from Jokic, and with ease, Young can knock it down from beyond the arc. Now you're probably wondering like, okay, why is this so important? It's just a normal three-pointer from a well-known three-point shooter. And hey, I understand what you're saying, but wait 1 second and let me show you something. When you watch this play right here from Young, do you see all the things that happen in such little time? Well, if you don't, let's rewind it back so we can all really analyze everything that happens. When Trae used this ghost screen set by Okongwu, you can see the double blitz him aggressively, so now with two defenders on Young, Okongwu was able to float into this space with ease. If you look at Siakam, he's rotating back late, so it makes Podol shift over to take away the open roll, so wham! Trae zips this no-look pass down to Capella in this dunker spot, and now he can get inside for the bully ball slam. Opposing teams' defenses shift completely when Trae starts operating off these screens, so when you see him crowded by two Brooklyn defenders and with Cam Thomas sinking in to take away Capella on the roll, it opens up Sadiq Bey on this opposite slot spot for an easy connection from deep. This is all created by his high level of three-point shooting, but also since he can carve the defense up with his handle when getting downhill, it makes the defense gravitate towards him heavily, which in turn opens up many different opportunities. On the season, Young is connecting on 38% of his 9 3-point attempts per game, so you can't afford to leave him open from the perimeter, or else you might as well chalk up 3 points on the board. He's not only one of the best space creators in the league, but his shot creation is one of the greatest assets of his game. It doesn't matter if defenders try and pick him up high to take away looks from deep, his herky-jerky movements make the defense bite so hard on the combos, and now with about 4 feet of space, it's just too much room for Trae to comfortably pull up from 31 feet. Isn't that pretty crazy that we can even say comfortably pull up from 31 feet? I know, right? But the thing with Trae is that he is such a tough shot maker that once he sees a glimpse of light for him to fire it out the cannon, well guess what? He gonna let that sucker blow. Most people think that being smooth with the handle is what gets you separation from the defender, but if you watch some of the best shot creators in the NBA, you'll quickly see that it's abrupt movements that keep the defenders dancing on a string, and before they can get back in position, they're already watching the shot in motion. If you watch here, the quick crossover leaves Dillon Brooks looking at the sideline like Jordan Poole searching for baddies, but it doesn't just stop there, as he feeds Brooks this nasty step back which makes Brooks take a seat, and now it's an and one from deep. These jittery moves and combos leak into his mid-range shooting as well, because you never know when one of these will be dished out, so with that uber quick in and out used, it makes Green bite dumb hard, and now Trae has that gap of space to rise up for the jumper. Sometimes it's not even a flashy combo that he'll feed the defenders to get them out of line, as his shooting is such a threat to defenders that a simple stop on a dime up fake will get them on that trampoline, and that's all she wrote. High alert, high alert, high alert. That's all I can say is stay on high alert. Because if you're not careful and you let him get hot, well, his shooting can give the defense nightmares, and even further than that, now he can beat you off the dribble to get downhill and use his soft touch to drop in the buckets. This inside scoring of Trae is rather interesting. He's not gonna totally rip your defense apart by getting all the way to the rim, but with his eloquent touch on the floaters, he's able to chop down the defense with these high arcing floats, which he converts at a 53% rate on his 109 attempts so far. To get him off that 3-point line, defenses will funnel him into the paint by chasing him over the screen, but with his speed, he's able to get around this screen and downhill with a quickness, and then right before meeting the big and Brook Lopez, Trae's able to float it over the top of him. You truly can't afford to have big step up on him or be the backline of defense to guard him, because if you don't step up, well, Trae can get right into his groove to knock it down. But let's say they do step out above the line to pick him up, well, with one quick cross, Trae can get that step on them towards the basket, and with no one stepping up to the plate to bother him, it's straight money from about 10 feet out. When defenders do shift over to stop the float, it might seem like a good thing as they scare him away from the shot attempt, but with all this attention catered to him, Okongwu was able to sneak backdoor behind the defense, and Young can drop it off with ease for him to go score inside. You must stay on your toes at all time, as he's able to dime it off so well off these drives that defenders will pause for a split second, as it seems as if he's going to pass it right back, but as you can see, this opens up an easy float and close off the glass. But hey, let's say the defense chooses to commit to Trae when it looks like he's going to have a wide open look at the rim. Well, the joke's on them, as he can blend this float into a pass out to the corner, and bada bing, it's money team. Sometimes when he gets deep into the paint off the dribble, the defense will collapse on him fully to where he can't make that lob over the top, but with his absurd vision and playmaking on the court, he can still find Capella on the roll with that wraparound dump instead of the lob over the top. These dimes come out of nowhere, as the defense really never knows when he'll zip it to a defender for the easy bucket or if he'll decide to take it in for himself. That floater dismantles defenses, the assist collapses the empire, and the 3-point shooting snipes them out the game. Right now, Trae Young is playing amazing, and this uptrend in his on-court production should make for a great year for him. For the Atlanta Hawks, they need to shift the direction they're headed in right now, or else they could see themselves outside the playoffs, and under huge scrutiny, Trae Young's great play will go unnoticed, and he will be the one to blame for their lack of success.